We're going to walk you through the installation of the J&L oil separator for your 2.3 liter Bronco. Including the J&L kit, it's an oil separator, 2 hoses with quick connect fittings, mounting bracket, mounting hardware, and 2 dress-up ends. The tools you're going to need for installation is a 13mm socket, ratchet, Phillips head screwdriver, and light grease. This installation is going to be aimed towards the early 2021 Bronco with build dates prior to September of 21. The PCV line is at the bottom of the motor. The later Broncos, there's access on the top of the motor, which is a different installation. Please check your line location before continuing installation. All right, we're going to go ahead and prep our oil separator for installation. Take the mounting bracket, the oil separator, align the 2 logos, and then use the supplied screws to fasten the bracket to the oil separator. Now we're going to go ahead and mount our oil separator. Here in the front of the master cylinder, there is a block that has a threaded bolt. You're going to take the supplied bolt that was included in your kit and use this to mount the bracket. And we're going to go ahead and tighten that up. 13mm. Just square up your oil separator nice and straight. I want to quickly show you how these aftermarket PCV fittings work. There's a few different variations of them. Now this fitting here is essentially what's on the intake manifold now, so this is going to show you a good example of how to lock this in. This one here, sometimes this tab can be blue, sometimes it's green, but it presses together, and then you actually have to push this in to lock it in. And then to release it, these 2 tabs on the back you lift up. That releases the lock, and it comes apart. Alternatively, sometimes you'll have a connection like this. This one clips on. There's a locking tab here. With that locking tab engaged, you cannot remove the fitting. To release, you unlock that tab, press on this portion that looks like a thumbnail, and pull it off. Then you have just your standard push button. Same idea, locks into place, just a push tab, and it releases. I'm going to route our hoses. So the hose with the male fitting is going to connect to the C side of the oil separator. We're going to route this around the master cylinder brace. And then we need to take our other hose with the 90-degree fitting. This fitting rotates, so if you need to adjust it, you can spin it. I would suggest having it curled with the 90 facing towards the curl of the hose, because it's going to have to connect to the intake manifold like that. And we're going to just feed that down to the bottom, and we'll adjust what hoses it goes around back underneath the truck. All right, so underneath your Bronco, we are on the driver's side. You see your oil filter there, and then you see these 2 silver pipes, which are probably for the heater core. Right above that is a corrugated line that is in between those 2 silver pipes. That is the line that is running to the intake manifold. That's a line that we're going to have to disconnect. So we're going to get that removed, and I will show you how that fitting operates as soon as I get it off. All right, so I'm going to reach my hand, and the release tab is actually almost on the bottom of the fitting, so you got to push on the tab and then pull on the hose while you have the tab. There we go. So this is the connection we're removing. This is the little release tab you have to pull away and then pull off of the intake fitting. All right, back underneath the vehicle, you can see our connections that we fed down. This is our male connection, which is going to plug into our factory PCV line that we removed. And then we have our 90-degree connection that's going to go to the intake manifold. So I'm going to focus on installing this one first. This is going to plug onto the manifold, and then you have to push in that locking tab once it's there. So there you go, and locked in. Oh, and then we're going to grab that factory PCV line and kind of work that back out. Sometimes they get wedged in some things. And then snap that in. See if I can show you. You can see the connection here. And then if you peek through, you can see the connection to the intake. Like I said, a lot of this is by feel. Well, once you're here installing it, it should become obvious to you. Now down here, what you want to make sure your lines are nice and clear of the steering shaft. That's why I routed the hoses above these lines, because that will naturally hold them up. We'll get back up to the top and make our connections. All right, so now we're going to connect our hoses. So our hose, obviously, you're going to lay out the one that was going to with the male to the PCV line is going to connect here to the C side, and then our other line will connect here to the O. So you want to go ahead and take your grease or your oil and lubricate these hoses a little bit, and this will make it so they are easy to slide onto the fittings. So install your dress-up end first, and then push that onto the separator. You can adjust it to get your hose routing how you want it. And then we're going to do the same for the other line. That's into place. Double check all your connections, double check your lines, make sure it's not interfering with anything.